We got Sensei going back up for the team one. Team one has Alphras. We got Speed. We got Zalmo the Warlock. We got Chicago on here. It looks like it's gonna be Gaga Daga. Trying to see if it might be able to challenge Sensei. Quick evasion immediately, dodging all those fists, just juking him in the DMs. With a quick kidney shot, as is going to be ring of pieces, but Gaga Daga is not deterred. He just continued to send assault over onto Sensei. Just continue to pistol whip the boy over the side of the head. Quick grapple hook, Gaga Daga with a quick gouge, just trying to see maybe can delay some of the damage from Sensei, at least denying the Fist of Fury. And needs to give himself a kidney shot to get up some kind of CC chain. Sensei got nothing left. Defensively, it's going to be quick vanish, as it's going to be Fist of Fury. Does he get a kidney shot? He needs to go the most amount of damage. He needs to go the distance if he wants to end up taking Sensei. Unless he goes for a full blind, he may just go for a blind. Karma, this is where you blind immediately. Blind, the man I think has a clean, unless there's DRs from that gouge. The sap DRs, you just don't even go for sap. Immediately evasion gonna be a poured out of Sensei, just trying to see if he can get away from him. Ring a piece around the corner, and Gaga Daga is gonna have to take it a little bit longer. If this is making him some good progress over Sensei, he may be okay. No more evasion available, might be in a bit of trouble. Lexi, if no chicken him up right now, he may be dead. Oh my goodness. I feel like this is where this man should have went for a sap, until then a full kidney shot onto Sensei. I think that might have been the safer play, but he thought maybe he was DR. Maybe he was still DR from the gouges. So that would have been super unfortunate. Stone into Sensei with that quick intimidation. DJ just trying to make sure you got that distance. Sensei trying to reduce some of the magic damage, which is quite valuable. The grenades, the bombs, as well as the surfacing. That is all magic damage. It's poison and fire, and it's actually gonna get quite a bit of reduction. DJ not deterred to kill shots around the corner. Oh, that was a lot of damage by the monk, but also even more damage by the boy. Wait, what's going on? Wait, huh? Wait, Speed got a dog with him? What is going on? I think I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I think Speed just got a dog. Where'd you get the dog from? Chicago getting hit with a kill shot. Harpoon for a second. Sunder, the DJ is trying to swing past him. It looks like again, DJ trying to break that gap. That's gonna be all. The turtle shell is DJ trying to go for as much recovery as possible. Again, trying to deny Chicago any modicum of maelstrom or physical damage for that matter. Freezing ice. That's going to be more Ghost Raptors, actually doing quite a substantial amount of damage and building the maelstrom for Chicago. So survivability wise, he's got himself covered. Damage wise from range, also got himself covered. Stun on Chicago, locking him down, actually putting some pressure onto the Shaman. Going to be a massive chain harvest as Chicago just reverses all the damage, is back up to healthy. And DJ is the one now, again, cowering behind the pillar, trying to see if he can play a little bit safer, trying to be a little bit more careful. And don't say cowering in like a bad way, but like he's like a little more careful, more cautious. He has to be a little bit scared of the damage. He has to respect the damage. Sunder by Chicago is to close the gap with a lightning bolt right after. How do you stop the Shaman? Looks like Scarlet is going to definitely give it a chance as they're throwing out a frozen orb versus Chicago. And they have to get aggressive, but I feel like quickly, once Chicago gets some kind of damage ramp up rolling in, Scarlet is also going to have to find a corner to hide away from the Shaman. Going to be a quick blink with the poly right after. Scarlet could potentially make some damage happen. Deathburn is up and running into a ring of peace. Looks like re-poly, another ring of peace for Chicago. Trinkets it, as they know the ring of peace is coming. Wanted to make sure they have a trinket ready. Wants to keep himself immune from any freezes. Full burst available for Scarlet as they have the Icy Veins rolling. Haste up is available, but can't really get this cast around the corner. Can't just lock down Chicago at all. Sunder with the stun totem comes down. That's going to be the all-the time Chicago trying to see if he can purge it off. Looks like they should be able to. Emma Bolt getting interrupted. And Chicago again just needs to get some kind of a root onto Chicago and get those frostbolts up and running. But Chicago again just avoiding giving Scarlet any of those casts whatsoever. Scarlet is just in a tight situation, can't go for Blizzard, but once the Deathburn is out, this is where Chicago wants to approach. With the interrupts from a distance, with the grounding totem, there's actually nothing Scarlet can really do against this. They need to get interrupted, they need to let a grounding totem happen, then they can get some cast out, but it's going to be a tough one. Ice block is used. As they're frost mage, they do get 2 ice blocks, so that is an opportunity for you to get a full heal inside of one, then use the other one for emergency. So you might as well use it. That's the only way to really regain a lot of your health compared to Arcane with the all-the-time and more uses of it. Compared to Fire with the Cauterize, you are limited to what you can do. Try to create a Ring of Peace, but I think Chicago is just not really going to go anywhere. Thunder Totem onto, or Capacitive Totem onto Scarlet. Does try to get an over Chicago. They are completely DR from it. And Bolt finally getting set up with a Frozen Orb. Maybe can get some procs damage onto Chicago. Does get himself double Comet Storm. Finally gets some pressure. The Ice Senses are doing work. Got himself all the time in case things go bad. bad. Definitely needs to get himself a cast off. Getting interrupted is going to limit the ability for them to ice block. May need to get himself a cold snap. That's going to be full wolves. Trying to get an ice wall, and Chicago just clobbers him down with a quick intro. Just denies the ice wall, which denies the ice block. And there's not much you can really do. Seaverk going to be up next with an Arcanosphere play. Touch and Magic versus Chicago. Oh my god, the blast damage. What is that? With a barrage is actually still so dead. What is this? All the time? Does he have it Sunder? Chicago trying to live this? Seaverk just got the biggest blast possible. More missiles to follow. Oh my god. The Night Fae Arcane comes out of nowhere. With Zomlo going to be up next. Got a full stun on Seaverk. With a bit of damage from all those pets, Seaverk vanishing out of there, vanishing out of sight. Looking for a bit of a reset. My god. Zomlo actually got a bit of damage on Seaverk off the bat. Man, that Night Fae Arcane is just so beefy. And I saw Seaverk trying to go for the biggest burst possible. He went for a Catasphere, into a cast of an Arcane Blast, into a Palm, and 3 Arcane Blasts back to back, into a barrage. Chicago's trying to escape. That is incredible. Palmer for Zomlo with a missiles onto the pet. Looks like Seaverk is actually going to focus down onto the Felguard. That's going to be Zomlo with a wall as well as a dark back. I think maybe burning way too many defenses where Seaverk is going to go for a little bit of poly, get a slow into Zomlo, maybe get an interrupt. There's going to be some missile on the corner. Zomlo is definitely going to have to get a pet up and running. Can go for Feldom in order to summon a new one. The fact that he hasn't summoned a pet, I think, may put him behind. The longer he waits, I think the worse it's going to be for him. Unless you already used Feldom to get the pet up earlier. Or did the pet die before? I'm not sure. There goes the Feldom trying to get a functioning pet. It's going to be potentially an interrupt or potential interrupt for Seaverk. Wait, does he get him with a Catasphere? Does he clip him with a barrage? Oh, and the Seapod. Is there a pet? Did it not finish the cast for a pet? I don't think this man finished the cast for a pet. I think he was trying to go for fast cast, try to get it, moved a little early. My goodness. Wait, that's actually super unfortunate that's the case. That man had himself a hell of a game. Alpha is going to be up next. Seaverk with a massive Viz. Alpha is trying to see if maybe does he have to pick up the eyes. Decides he needs to pick up the eyes. And Seaverk using that massive Viz to catch up a little bit of healing. Sending out damage first versus Alphas. There's going to be immediate stun onto the mage. Does have a trigger for it. Does Seaverk play the blink? I don't know if he plays a proper blink or not. I guess he might have blinked a little early. Going to be avoiding that grippy hand from Alphas completely. That is going to be the most amount of damage from these Holy DK all the time up for Seaverk in order to use that mobility just to escape Alphas. And as again, is trying to see if he maybe can use this Arcane Blast in order to spend a little bit of mana, trying to catch up on some of this missile damage. Arcanosphere, I don't think the pet has a stun anymore, so it could be potentially biggest damage on the Seaverk with the missiles to follow. Aim us up for Alphas, trying to see if he can crack through his shell. He does crack through it. All the time is up right now, trying to get some Palm Arcane Blast in with a barrage to follow. That is going to be Alphas with the Spell Warden. So every time he takes a bit of a magic damage, he can create a shield that does give him a little bit more of that anti-magic survivability. Seaverk was able to avoid the pet. That's going to be Alphas with that fully empowered Dark Transformation Ghoul. Does have to sacrifice in order to maintain his health and try to stay ahead of Seaverk as best as possible. Seaverk using the mobility and invis in order to just try to swing around the corner. Alphas going to stuck out in a weird spot. Does get a grip down for Seaverk, but Seaverk with the mobility, blink out of that stun, trying to chain of ice him down, but he's going to be able to trinket out of the root. Doesn't keep the pressure rolling because Seaverk does it to establish some dominance and pressure. Definitely to get himself a little bit more runic power spent in order to get the Army of the Dead rolling back in. And a quick poly, Arcanosphere, full burst on a Seaverk. Does he have the go? That's going to be massive blasted damage onto first. Does he have the blink to catch up? That's going to be no line of sight. Seaverk has himself a perfect setup. That's going to be AMS at the last second. Does he have himself another barrage to follow? Potentially, I think he's trying to see if he can get away from maybe get some missile procs. Grip onto Seaverk. Does have a massive miss with the missiles around the corner. Flash cut available for offers, but does land the interrupt. Again, that pet is in the execute range. Next barrage could be the end of it. I think maybe Seaverk is trying to see maybe can DPS down the pet. Another barrage, keep it out for slow. With the more missiles right after. Maybe another barrage. Drop it down the intermagic zone. I think next barrage is over, right? I don't know how this man lives. He's trying to stay in the dome as best as possible, but he's got no health. Does he even have a pet? He doesn't. That's going to be full Catasphere. Does he dodge it? Does he juke it? He doesn't juke it. I think it's over. One castle, that's it. Avoided the orb. Barrage. That's just strike in between of it. Another barrage. Man, that is super unfortunate. My goodness. And Seaverk has walked out of the duel. Has the ice block and everything available. Speed is going to be up next. Wait. So, okay, so the first guy that got to play was Sensei, right? But then Sensei got taken down, I think, by Flex, I believe, right? So is this like, oh, how do you get that Kyrian bird? I always wanted to know. But that's going to be a Flex. Up next, trying to go for a bit of a bow with Seaver, giving him a little bit of an honor duel. We're going into high dampening into this one. Basically 15 minutes into this duel, 58% dampener going to be blink immediately for Seaver. Speed went for Shadow Step maybe a little early. I think it was expected for Seaver to go for blink immediately off of the cheap shot, but he kind of delayed it. Let the Shadow Step happen, blinked away, forces Speed to Shadow Step yet again. Trying to go for a knockback, big damage on Speed. May have to cloak a Shadow Step. So he doesn't do anything. That's going to be a big barrage, possibly. Vanishes to follow. Speed trying to hold on to that cloak of Shadows until a little bit later. Big barrages for Seaver. Doesn't have a chicken for it. Speed just doesn't want to cloak. Speed doesn't want a cloak. I think maybe he decided he's not going to burn a cloak here. Is he just trying to equalize his duel to make it more fair, more even? Or is he just trying to play it very, very ballsy here? It may be one or the other. I don't even know which one it is. I can't tell. But it's going to be Seaberg with a sap. And Speed trying to give himself a little bit of recovery. Trying to go for the many pickups. Again, I can't tell if this rogue is just waiting for a cloak of shadows for later. Or is he trying to burn it off? I don't understand. I just don't get it. Ultra up is up for Siva. Keeping Speed kind of low. The next barrage could be very, very deadly. Touches the badge to follow. Has a Cloak of Shadows. Maybe he's waiting for Cloak the whole time until he's very... Maybe it's saving Cloak until he's like actually needed it. That is insane. I feel like I would have cloaked that full burst on a mage immediately. But he did not. Speed, man. He has good control of his cooldowns. He knows when to use it, when not to use it. And it's like, you know what? I don't need it. I'm going to get down to like 1 health out of this burst. But that's just enough to survive and stealth away. I swear. Man. But Speed does end up immuning it completely. Cheap shot onto Mage. That's going to be that Shadow Step. All the time is up for Sivix. He does have survivability, if anything. Speed trying to see if he can hit him with yet another cheap shot just to keep him locked in. That's going to be Seawork with the Ultra Time. At dampening, Seawork's Ultra Time actually does get a lot of value because it's percentage health. It's all full health. It doesn't have any DRs. You're not healing. You're just putting your health back to where you were. So it's actually unaffected by dampening. Interrupt up to Seawork as he's trying to get himself a little bit extra resources back with a cooldown reduction. Polymorph onto Speed as he got not a lot of really health to work with, but he does have big bursts. That's going to be Speed with nothing left unless Speed somehow it ends up immuning all this damage. This could be the end of the rogue potentially. Oh my god! Seawork does pull it off at the end. Speed had a blind cone back up in the last second. He had advantage, but he didn't have it during that full burst. Oh my goodness. I had the wrong ability. It was so scary. Rogue Soulbind, you did. Apparently didn't hold you back. I think you may have the right Soulbind, honestly. No conduits? Don't need them. My god. What is that?